Did you know more than 38 million Americans live with diabetes? That's almost 12% of the population. Mattel introduced a new Barbie in hopes of spreading awareness and also promoting inclusivity. And our friend, health coach Lizzie Oliveira, is here to talk about why this is important, especially for young people. So good to see you again, Lizzie.
Yeah, good to see you too.
So tell me about this new Barbie that has diabetes and what she represents.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a doll like Barbie to represent all these 38 million Americans out there. But also we have recent data also from CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, that shows that 1 in 3 teenagers and pre-teenagers have diabetes across the United States.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
That's a big concern, isn't it?
That's right. Kids from 12 to 17 years old. Actually, we have exactly 304,000 kids across the country who have to deal with this problem every single day. So it's important to have a Barbie like this to represent all these kids out there.
Let's talk a little bit about the types of diabetes. I know that there are many types, but there are 2 main types, type 1 and type 2. Do you want to just explain the physiology of it?
Yeah, it is important to understand a little bit with a little bit of physiology, but in a simple way. So diabetes, especially the type 1, is the one that you're usually born with. So because it's more related to genetics. So your own body destroys the cells, in this case, the cells from the pancreas. They are responsible for producing the insulin, which is the hormone responsible for doing this important transportation for the glucose from the bloodstream to the cells. Because whatever we eat, Sheila, right after eating, our body, it has to break down the glucose, the carbohydrates into glucose. And this glucose is the energy that the cells need. But it can't stay in the bloodstream. It has to go to the cells. And insulin is this hormone responsible for doing this transportation. So if there's no insulin, there's no transportation. And that's why people with type 1 diabetes, especially these people, they need some extra help. And that's why we have Barbie wearing all this technology
She's got
here.
the equipment that patients who have diabetes use. So it kind of lets people who don't have diabetes know what these Americans are going through. Since we are talking about how many young people have it, and the CDC is even projecting more Americans will be getting it in future years, it's important to talk about prevention. Are there ways to prevent certain types of diabetes?
Yeah, I think if we try to associate a healthy diet, most of the time, if you eat clean, associated with exercise, any kind of physical activity, that's a very good start, because type 2 diabetes, differently from type 1 diabetes, is the one more associated with your lifestyle, especially your nutrition choices. So if you eat clean most of the time, that's a very good start. That's why we also know type 2 diabetes as insulin resistance. So your body still produces some of this insulin, but your cells show some kind of resistance to open the door to let this glucose in. So that's why it is so important to understand what the problem is so we can take action right now to help prevent it.
So for parents of kids right now watching, what are some of the foods that maybe you should limit in your diet if you want your kids to have a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, some kinds of processed foods, sugar. Yeah, you know, we have access to lots of sweets out there, which is fine, but we have just to learn how to balance the intake of these kinds of foods. And beverage pops, for example, with a lot of sugar, that's important to balance. So this way we can make sure that we're eating clean most of the time. Yeah, we don't need to avoid all the favorite foods that we love.
Right.
We just have to balance, right?
Right. It's all about balance, and I think parents can be such a great example, and now Barbie can be a great example for it too. Lizzie Oliveira, thank you so much.
That was so good to be here again.
Great to see you.